guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha Noor, and here I do makeup while talking about murder cases that I cannot get out of my head. Anyway, please do not forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and click that bell icon down below. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video. The following presentation contains graphic detailed description of the crime scenes, mentions of sexual assault, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. So today we are going to talk about the Christmas killer. Yes, his name was, because he's dead now, his name was Ronald Gene Simmons, and Gene is spelled as Gene. So this guy was ruthless, he was sadistic, he was a misogynistic type of a man, and the crimes he committed really is what got me hooked to this guy's story, because I really do fail to understand what made him do what he did. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video, because it's a long one. So on December 1987, 29th, Pope County's Sheriff Office investigators were investigating a murder of 14 murders that were a result of a murderous spree committed by one Ronald Gene Simmons. So we want to really get to know what made him go on this murderous spree, what made him tick off. Like, let's get to know about him a little bit, about his background a little bit, though there's not really much detailed detailed information about his past life, his childhood, his early life, but we'll get what we find. And he was born in 1940 in Chicago, Illinois, to a William and Loretta And in 1943, William Simmons, that is Ronald Simmons' dad, he passed away. He had a stroke and passed on. And within a year, the mom, Loretta, remarried again. And she remarried a man known as William Griffin. Maybe she has a thing for Williams. I'm just saying, I don't know. But yeah, she married a man named William, and he was in the U.S. Army. And after a while, Ronald did quit school. He dropped out of school, and he went ahead and joined the army. And that is where he joined the army, and that is where, sorry, not the army, he joined the Navy. And while in the Navy, he was stationed in Washington, where he met his future wife-to-be, Rebecca. Rebecca was known to be very, very beautiful. She was vibrant, she was smart, but she was really, really beautiful. That's what she was known for mostly. And after a while, they married in New Mexico, and soon afterwards, Ronald quit the Navy and joined the U.S. Air Force. And that was in 1960. And after they married, in the next about 18 years, they ended up having 7 kids. Oh, that's a lot of kids. They ended up having 7 kids, and everybody thought, everybody from outside, like when you look from, the outside, everyone from outside thought it was a picture perfect family. They were a happy family. They lived, contrary to what everybody thought and believed, it was actually an uncomfortable homestead to be in, because it is okay to be strict as a parent, but please do let your kids or your partner, your spouse, to be able to live their lives true to who they are, their authentic selves. You really don't have to, put people in a cage. And this is what actually Ronald did. He kind of, like Rebecca said, kind of described the kind of living setting her and her kids underwent through. It was kind of like a prison setting. You really have no rights, you have no say. You have to do what you're told, when you're told, how you're told. That's how they lived. And honestly, that is a very uncomfortable and not a happy homestead. So the picture that they painted out there is not what was going on in the house. And in 1981, their first daughter, her name was Sheila. Sheila was 17 at the time, and she got pregnant. And yeah, the father of Sheila's child was no one other than her own dad, Ronald. So Ronald and Sheila, they kind of like formed a weird bond. But I can't blame Sheila on that, because she was literally groomed by Ronald, because she didn't know any better. Ronald used to take Sheila on car rides, just her, you know, she used to be daddy's favorite, daddy's girl, and Ronald will take Sheila on rides, car rides, just the two of them, and they'd go and park somewhere, and Ronald will end up molesting, Sheila. He will say Sheila, and Sheila, she started believing that this is a father's love. My dad just loves me so much. And let me tell you, that's not a father's love. You do not molest your kids. And this guy, he should have been arrested long time ago. And honestly, I think if he will have been arrested a long time ago, it will have prevented a lot of the things and the mess that was going on, that actually happened in the future. But oh well, he didn't get arrested, and they were trying to hide the pregnancy from the family at first, but then soon it became really, really evident that, oh, she's with child, and everybody like knew right away, like Ronald is the dad, and they couldn't say a lot, they couldn't say much, and she birthed a beautiful baby girl. And Becky was Rebecca, Sheila's mom, Ronald's wife. She encounters this one incident that they were seated in the car, both the three of them, Sheila, Ronald, and Becky. But Sheila was seated in the front seat shotgun, and Ronald was at the driver's seat, and Becky, the mom, was seated in the back seat. And she said, like, she was observing them and their behavior and how they related to each other. It was not a father-daughter type of a relationship. It was more like a husband-wife type of a relationship. And she got really uncomfortable, but she was really scared of the husband, and because of the abuse she had underwent through, and all that. So she didn't say much, but she really did notice that, and it was weird. And that is when it became clear to her that this guy there's more to the two of them than just father-daughter love, father-daughter bonding, father-daughter time. There's more to that, but she couldn't say anything. And honestly, I don't think she even blames her daughter. She blames the husband, because she knows how the husband is. So yeah, Sylvia Gale was the product of the incestuous affair that Ronald and Sheila had. They birthed, like I said, she birthed a beautiful baby girl. Her name was Sylvia, not Sheila, Sylvia Gale. And soon afterwards, like, she grew up. I mean, like, Sheila, I'm not talking about Sylvia, the daughter, I'm talking about Sheila, Ronald's daughter. She grew up, and she actually fell out of that headspace that the dad put her in, and she got married. She met a guy, fell in love, got married, moved out. And let me tell you, if this thing, the fact that she actually had the audacity to move out and get married and go live with another man, Ronald did not like that. He did not approve of that. He did not like that, because he always wanted to be in control 24/7. And Sheila moving out of the home, that means he had no control over her life anymore, or what she does, what she says. And now she's with another man, she's happy. Yeah. And Becky despised Ron with every inch and ounce of her body. Like, she despised this man for what he had done to her and her kids and her grandkids. Now they were kind of like old enough to They were old enough, they had grandkids, because their kids now are having their own children. So, and he was not only strict to like his wife and his kids, also his grandkids, they got that treatment. Yeah, and Rebecca had had enough of this man, and how she was like moving out. She threatened Ronald moving out, and Ronald did not like this. Like I said, he really wanted to be in control over their lives and everything they do. And Rebecca wrote this down like days prior the murders happening, and I quote, she wrote, I don't want to live the rest of my life with dad. Apparently, everybody called Ron dad, and she also called her husband dad. So yeah, when I say dad, I don't mean Becky is Ronald's daughter. Becky is the wife, so she called her dad. Just keep that in mind. She said, I don't want to live the rest of my life with dad. I am a prisoner here, and so are the kids. And she wrote these days, like days before the murders happened. And so that you can know the extent of this guy need for control of other people's lives, he made his family live far away from people and civilization. They live in a very isolated and desolated area, and the house was surrounded by a tall makeshift fence. Like when you're on the other side of the fence, you cannot see inside, like the compound, and when you're in the compound, you cannot see, this other side of outside of the fence. And he wanted his kids and his grandkids, this is how he wanted them to be, like no friends, you can't play with anybody. So it's like from school to home, home to school, and that's it. There's no, like, how like you come from school, you change, and you're like, you know what, I'll do my homework at night, and then you first go play with your friends. And childhood, that's how we grew up, and that's how it should be. Like, let kids play, that's what kids do. But he did not want that. He's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. And they were so afraid of him. They were under his rule, and that's why I say, and even Becky said they were living they were living in a prison kind of like environment, because come on, seriously. And this Babas was very strict, and he had like strict rules, and you had to follow his rules. There's no other way. It's Ronald's way. It's Ron's way, or the highway. There's no like a team, negotiation, but it's dad's way. It's dad's way. And let me tell you, that is such a toxic environment for not only kids, but anyone to grow up in. But kids who grow up in such environments like tend to have like a lot of childhood trauma, and their inner child, when they grow up, they have like inner child wounds. Like, it's just not right when you don't let your kids be able to express themselves completely, and be able letting your kids find themselves. It's not really nice. Turned into like a therapist. So this is what this guy did. He took two of the kids that were living under his roof, and I believe these were his grandkids. Two of them, these kids, mind you, were barely like 10. He made them dig an outhouse. An outhouse, those pit latrines that are outside, like toilets, pit latrines that are outside of the house, in the compound. That is, he made them dig an outhouse. Okay, he told them it's an outhouse, so he made them dig it 4 feet down. Can you imagine like how hard digging is? And these are kids who are barely 10, or let's say even 12. They don't have the manpower. These kids just want to play, and obviously he is supervising them, so they are really afraid. I can imagine. And obviously, because they were digging the outhouse, people who were in the homestead obviously knew what was going on. They were not digging it at night. Ronald was not one to hide things that he was doing. Imagine people in the house, like the wife Becky, or the son, or whoever was living in the house at the time, knew what was going on, but They were so afraid of this guy that they couldn't say a thing. I haven't controlled my nose. Oh, I'll do it later. They couldn't say a thing. Can you imagine that? That is how this guy like reigned over his family, and it's not. I do not agree with that. So this at the moment, he felt like he was losing control over his family because Becky, the wife, Rebecca, had threatened to leave him. She was like, I've had enough of you and your bull crap. So you know what? I'm leaving. And he's like, no, I cannot allow this to happen. This cannot happen. Only I am in control of this family. Only I say what happens and, when it happens and how it happens. And he did not like it a single bit. So on December 22nd, 1987 was the morning that Ronald started his massacre. And it should have been a red flag to everyone in the house when he was just like really quiet, and he kept to himself because, like I mentioned earlier, Ronald was not the one to let his family just do whatever they pleased, or just let them be happy, let them laugh. You cannot even laugh in his house. That's the kind of a person that he was. So this should have been a red flag, because all this time this family is thinking, oh, maybe dad is changing or something is wrong with him, but they did not think deep into it. They were just like, okay, and they went on their business, because Ronald does not want to let his family do whatever. He wanted to have full control over every little single thing. So he locked himself in his room. He kept very, to himself. He was reserved that day. And his main issue, what really bothered him, is the fact that Sheila moved on and Rebecca was now threatening to also move on and live her life to, her true self. And I mean, like, Rebecca and Sheila, how dare they? How dare you? How dare you want to live your life outside dad's control? Anyway, on that morning, he started by killing his wife, Rebecca. He shot Rebecca with a .22 caliber, and then he proceeded killing his son, and his oldest son, and the son's 3-year-old. So that is Ronald's grandchild, 3-year-old grandchild. Let me do my eyebrows and I'll be right back. Yeah, so I'm back with the eyebrows done. So on that night, he actually went ahead on that morning, he went ahead and murdered his wife, Rebecca, and he shot her with a .22 caliber, then proceeded to shoot his son with the same rifle, and shoot his 3-year-old granddaughter. People who commit crimes against kids, I don't get that. Like, what? Why would you shoot this 3-year-old granddaughter? What kind of, because he was taking back his power. He was, it was like a revenge. But what did this 3-year-old do to you? And you think this is the end of it, like he's killed just this 3-year-old. Why my words are not coming out well. This 3-year-old, you are going to be shocked what he's going to do next. So he waited for 4 of the kids who were living in the homestead, who were at school. So he waited for them to come from school, and 2 of those kids were the ones that he forced to dig the outhouse. Little did they know that outhouse is going to act as their graves. They were digging their own graves, like literally. So this is how he lured them. He told them, I have presents for you. So they're like, yo, dad has presents for us. But he was like their grandfather, like, yo, he has presents for us. So he lured them and he strangled them. Then he took their heads and drowned them in a rain barrel, like outside the house. And after that, he dumped their body in the pit that he made. 2 of those kids that he unlived them to to dig. So this guy, he's sinister. And then he waited because there are family members like Sheila and one of her brothers and their spouses and their kids. They were coming over on the 26th of December. So he waited for the annual Christmas family gathering. So he waited for them to come. And during this time, mind you, he also dumped his wife's body, his son and his grandchild's body in the pit together with the other 4 kids. Those were 7 bodies. He had already killed 7 people. He had already unalived 7 people. So he waited, and when he was waiting, he waited, and when they came, this is what he did. His first son, the son who arrived first, this is how he killed him. He shot him, and then he went ahead and shot his wife. The name of that son was Billy, and he also went ahead and shot their 20-month-old infant child. I just don't get it. I'm out of words. I cannot even comprehend. I cannot even, like, you say like, oh, maybe I understand. I can't. And then he went ahead and killed Sheila's husband. You remember Sheila, the daughter who he was in love with. So yeah, he went ahead and killed Sheila's husband. And he went ahead and killed Sheila. And he went ahead and unalived their 21-month-old grandson. Son, which was his grandson. And what he did, he just laid the bodies all across the house, and he covered them with coats. But for Sheila, Sheila was like his favorite child. Sheila was like the love of his life, the apple of his eye. He put her, her already unalived body on the dining table like it was a buffet, like, people are going to come and, eat. So she put her like she was the meal to be eaten, and he did not cover Sheila's unalived body, and he left her there. I really did not at first understand like why he did that. What was the reason? What was the motive and the reason behind? I did not like, what was the, no, I want to say what was the reason. I didn't understand it, and what made him do that. But then like the deeper I dug into like his story and his psychology, I'm like, oh, it was more or less a kind of an act of love, because he believed that, he loved Sheila so much. She was, his favorite. So to him, that was what was going on in his brain. I believe so. Yeah. And then he went ahead and proceeded to go to a nearby bar and had some beers, got drunk, and then he went home and had some more beers. He was having the time of his life. Let me first do my eyeliner. I'll be right back. This guy went and killed Kathy Kendricks at an office of Peel and Eddy. It was a law firm. She was the secretary. He went and shot her 4 times in the head. She did not survive, obviously. And his next victim was the owner of Taylor Oil Company. His name was Rusty Taylor. He shot Rusty, but fortunately, Rusty did end up surviving. He did not die. But then he also shot one of Rusty's employees. His name was Jim Chaffin. Jim, unfortunately, passed on. He did not survive the ordeal. And just when you think like, are you done now? He proves you wrong. He's like, His next destination was at Sinclair Minimart, where he used to work, and he shot 2 employees who fortunately did survive. They did not pass away. And just when you think like, okay, now are we done? No. His last stop was at Woodline Motor Freight, where he shot Joyce Budd. And this is what he told the secretary. He told the secretary, I just wanted to kill Joyce. And he just shot her, and Joyce passed on. And he was caught by police. So he had two hearings. The first hearing was for Kendrick and Chaffin, the two employees at the law firm. And 2 days later, just 2 days later, Ronald Gene Simmons was sentenced to death by lethal injection. I mean, serves him right. And on top of that, he was also added 147 years on top of the lethal injection. And then his second trial was held in February, in 1989, February 10, and he was also found guilty. He was also found guilty on the 14 counts of capital murder, because, you know, he killed every single member that was living under his roof, his family, and he was found guilty, and he was also sentenced to death by lethal injection. And on the 16th, on the 16th of March 1989. That was when he was found guilty of the 14 counts of capital murder, and he was sent to, you know, death by lethal injection. And this guy chose lethal injection himself, and this is what he said, and I quote, he said, "Anything short of death will be cruel and an unusual death." Okay, that still doesn't make you a good person. That still doesn't cover up for what you did. What you did was horrible. And his lawyer, John Harris, that was the name of his lawyer, he said that they are just more than not chaffing. There's more than Ronald Gene Simmons to blame for all these murders. He says that if the police had done their work earlier, in the years prior to all of this happening, that it will have prevented a lot. You know, because he had molested his daughter in the years prior to him committing the murders. He said that if police had, you know, captured him and convicted him, that all this would have been prevented. I do see his reasoning. I do agree that the police should have done their work. But do I agree with the fact that he blames police? No, I don't agree with him, because you cannot blame anybody else for this person's actions. You cannot do that. What he did was sinister, was horrible. It was just, this is monstrous. Whatever he did, it was horrible. He even killed infants. He committed crimes against kids, which was very, very bad. And after he was unalived by the state, his family members, his far family members who were still alive, nobody came to claim his body. I mean, like, dude, if I was part of his family, I wouldn't claim his body. I'll be like, I don't know who that be. I don't know who he is. I don't know him. You know, we just, you know, coincidentally share her last name, but nobody claimed him. And he was no less respect for him. He was buried in a common, you know, grave, and serves him right. But does that really, you know, make up for everything that he did? No. But it's kind of serves him right, whatever he got. But yeah, so that is the story of the Christmas killer, the guy who decided to kill his family during the Christmas festives. And he's exhausting my brain. Kwanzaa, the fact that he killed kids, I just don't understand. I don't understand people who kill, but how can you kill infants at 21 months? Anyway, and also, by the way, when he was captured, he was sent to a state hospital for, you know, a mental evaluation to see if he's fit to stand trial or not, if he's sane, and he was found sane. So he cannot come on and blame mental illness for this. He cannot say that, you know, I had, you know, some kind of mental disorder. No, he knew what he was doing. He planned to do this. It was premeditated. That's all I can say. Anyway, so that's the story of the Christmas killer, Ronald Gene Simmons. Yeah, and this is my today's basic makeup look. And oh yeah, I'm back. I know I have been away for quite some time, but now I am back. and it feels good to be back. I'll be posting very more frequently, mostly on Fridays and on Mondays and Fridays. Yeah, so please do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and also click the bell icon down below. And hey, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Support a sister here. Yeah, so yeah, it feels so good to be back. Please do stay safe, and it's the holidays. Please have a good one and keep it safe. Wear your masks. This, we don't want to catch those things going around. We don't want that. Wear your masks and try to practice social distancing with people you don't know. Yeah, so that's right about it. See you next time. Bye, my besties.